Well, you seem to well have gotten your start with the old school methods of effects and puppetry and stuff. How do you feel about the digital revolution and everything kind of being taken over by computer graphics and stuff? Did you think puppetry was dying?
No, I've heard that, but I think puppetry's theatrical and will continue to live on. I've worked briefly with people like Stan Winston, who have now begun putting digital development systems in what they do. They use computers and digital effects just as much as they do with their puppetry, but they use them together, and that's what's great. Because it's still better, I think, for an actor to react to something physical that's then enhanced with CG rather than just a ping pong ball with a tennis ball. But it's all an art form, it's like CG is not going to kill animation, animation's not going to kill live action, because already with characters like Gollum and Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean or the characters in Monster House, it's all motion capture. So you still need an actor and you still need a performance, it's just that now it's being interpreted. I think the trouble is when CG doesn't enhance the illusion, it just becomes when CG is done for its own sake but not to serve a story, you run into trouble. Star Wars is great, but it's so great if the digital stuff just helps the models or helps the actors rather than becomes the whole story. Because when you sort of get distracted and just try to make something cool for its own sake, then I think it's less interesting. But I remember they said, people said they didn't like electronica, and then I think Bjork made the point that it's just another instrument. And CG is just another instrument, and I think it can live harmoniously with puppetry. I know the Hensons have already developed digital versions of their characters that use motion capture from an actual puppeteer's hand. So there's a way to marry it together, You're always going to need a human performance at the core of whatever you're doing.
Right. And when I watched the commentaries on the DVDs and stuff, you said you had no formal training as a puppeteer, right? Even until you started the Fox show, right?
Yeah, I still haven't.
And you still haven't. And who needs it, right? You've got your...
I just do it, yeah.
But so was it... but when you entered the professional world of puppeteers with the virtual reality goggles and the animatronics, was it difficult to make the transition, or you just take naturally to it?
I just jumped right in because it was toys to play with. I've always been technical, and anything that can help you get what you want accomplished is, I just kind of dive into. Like the first time I used Photoshop, and I didn't have a manual, and I was just sort of poking around with it, and you figure it out, and with puppetry, it was a big help, those things. But some of them are a little extravagant. You don't need it all. At the end of the day, it's just you and your hand. But it's great to have monitors so you can see what the camera sees, and it's great if you can be made comfortable by technology that I didn't even know existed before, or just simply working with another puppeteer. I used to have to do Count Blah all by myself with a hand and then one hand, so he never had two arms, and then you get another puppeteer in there going like this, and suddenly the character is brought to life in a whole new way. So that was really fascinating to me.
Right. Okay, so well, what advice would you give to the next generation of homegrown movie makers who are just out there with their, assuming they have at least a camera to work with, and the modern technology available? What would you...
I'd say finish what you start. The worst thing that happens is when people get excited and then sort of just let the idea peter out, just not to be discouraged. Finish what you start, even if you think it's not going to be great, even if you think that you're kind of ready to quit. You'll never regret it if you just get it finished. And just not to put obstacles in front of yourself. I think so many people say, oh, well, I can't do it because my neighbor was going to hold the camera and he moved, so now the movie's dead. Just get your grandma out there and give her the camera. You know what I mean? Don't put obstacles in front of yourself and get stuff done. Because even if somebody doesn't come knocking on your door and say, here's the ticket to Hollywood, I mean, you've still finished something. You've grown that much, and you've tried it, and you've hopefully enjoyed it. And then you do the next thing and the next thing. And it's the same with writing, you just keep going. Don't worry even about the end result. Just get the experience done.
Right. And well, you guys were able to get your start in pretty small productions. It's just pretty much you, with the three of you out there with a camera.
Yeah, Spencer, Sean, and I shooting with hand puppets in my apartment, and that was it.
On VHS?
And when we needed, yeah, on VHS camera, and when we needed help, we called our friends, and if they weren't available, you put the puppets on the end of a broomstick, and if we couldn't do that, we just waited until the next day, you know. But the important thing is to just keep doing it and not give up, and make sure you enjoy it, because if you don't enjoy it and you're looking for reasons not to do it, chances are maybe you should be doing something else. You know, it's got to be the kind of thing that you really want to do and can't not do it. Very often I find there are people who are like, don't seem to like it. So you say, well, don't do it then. Nobody's, you know, demanding that you go through it, because it's a lot of work. Even if you get a chance at some success, the work is only going to get harder, and it's going to be tough, and you're not going to be able to complain to your friends, because they're going to not want to hear you, because they're going to say, hey, I have an office job, at least you have a TV show, I don't want to hear about how tough your life is. But you're like, my arm hurts, and can you believe we have to go to, you know, whatever. I don't know, sorry.
Yeah.
But it's true, be thankful and enjoy it.